Super Rugby Power Rankings following round number 7. There are a fair few teams on the move. I believe it's only one team that I've got stable after round 7. And that was a team on a bye, of which there were 3 this round just gone. Some of the others have been pushed around a wee bit. But we'll start at the bottom, move our way to the top. And yeah, you guys can let me know your thoughts as always. 15th and down 2 spots are the Jaguares from Argentina. It's not been a good run for them. They came very close to beating the Chiefs, but not close enough to get a win. And it's another home loss. It's not their first one of the season. Yeah, it's not looking that good for them this year. I mean, there were glimpses of it in this game, but just too many errors, too many penalties, and yeah, their season is already looking precarious. So we'll see if they can turn it around in South Africa next week. Into 14th and up 1 spot. Hooray! Congratulations, Sunwolves, second win of the season. Moves them up 1 spot. They are now 2 wins and 5 losses. So actually a better record than the Jaguares, who are 2 wins and 4 losses. But just given the way I do the calculations, Sunwolves have got a more recent win, so that's probably why they are up above where the Jaguares are at. Bit of a pity, I suppose, that the two kind of teams that are outside the traditional New Zealand, South Africa, Australia territory are on the bottom. But hey, it's just my ranking, so yep. Next and down 1 spot are the Highlanders, and with them down 1 spot are the Brumbies. So these two teams were both on the bye this week just gone. Nothing much they did wrong, but other teams around them had wins, and teams which perhaps would have been competing with them for those lower spots, yeah, either got wins or the ones that didn't lose. So yep, that's not done them any favours, but it's a game in hand. They've got above a few teams above them. Next and down 2 spots are the Reds. So the Reds' winning run has come to a crashing halt at the hands of the Rebels. Their record, instead of becoming parity of 3-3, becomes 2 wins and 4 losses. So yeah, I mean, it could have been worse if you looked at it before they got those 2 wins. But I would have thought a Rebels team coming back from South Africa on the back of 2 losses, and the Reds are having 2 wins in a row, that was the time to really strike, and didn't happen. So the Reds are down, up, and one of the biggest movers this week are the Chiefs. The Chiefs started the season in pretty atrocious fashion, but they seem to have plateaued with that draw. They were going down, down, down with loss. They've kind of evened things out, and perhaps now they're back on the way up. 2 wins on the trot, 2 away wins. So perhaps being out in Argentina and South Africa has kind of done something for the boys, where they've had a shift in mentality, or the coaches have had a breakthrough with the way they're working with them. Maybe the ball's just bouncing the right way. I don't know, but they weren't that convincing against the Jaguares. But again, they were on the bye. The Chiefs had travel on the back of previous travel. So, yep, good work, Chiefs. Keep on like that, and they'll be catching up to some of these other teams in no time. Next, and down 2 spots, are the Sharks. The Sharks, who just can't decide whether they're going up or they're going down. Their record is 3 wins and 3 losses, which is kind of to be expected, given that you never really know which team's going to show up. They had a lot of chances in their game against the Bulls. Did not take them. They are down. 9th spot for the Sharks. Down 3 spots, and pretty disappointing, were the Waratahs. Again, didn't take chances. Came down to a missed kick in the end, but at home against the bottom ranked team, if you want to be the top Australian team, you need to be winning, not losing. A losing bonus point is still pretty poor in terms of where the Waratahs were at for that game. So yep, their record is also at evens. The Stormers slowly slipping, but remember, they are on tour, so we can't be perhaps as harsh on them as the Waratahs losing at home, the Sharks losing at home. The Stormers are on tour. Touring teams, unless you're the Chiefs or some other teams, are kind of expected to lose. So every now and again a team goes on a bit of a run. But South African team, Stormers especially, not the best touring team. It's perhaps been a bit better than last year, but this result was worse than the one before, so if that trend continues, they could be in a bit of bother, but they'll definitely be targeting a win on the Australian League of the journey now that the New Zealand section is over. Next, and a big mover, and I'm not holding my breath with this one, my Blues. I've got them up into 6th spot, which is probably as high as I've ever had them. As long as I've been doing these power rankings, generally they sit in this bottom row. But they're in 6th on the back of a 3rd win on the bounce. A Australian Conference team in the Sunwolves, a New Zealand Conference team for the first time in a long time. And now the Stormers, they still have one more home game to go before a bit of a break. So there's a chance that they could keep going up, and also there's a chance they could blow it. Does that mean I'm convinced that the Blues are perhaps the 6th strongest team in Super Rugby? Probably not. But the way I've set the formula up, it rewards teams who are winning currently, and the Blues' losses are kind of well behind them now. They're almost a month ago, so keep on going Blues, I'm not complaining. Next, and down 4, and this is a pretty harsh drop, but the Hurricanes are down from the top spot. It's a bit of a dramatic drop to be out of the first row entirely, but just the manner of that loss, the margin, the fact they were at home, was so disappointing. I mean, it must feel way worse if you're an actual Canes fan, but even as a Blues fan, I look at the Canes and go, man, come on guys. That could have been a far different result, but it was poor. So, yep, they drop. I mean, yes, it was to the Crusaders, but like I said, the manner and the fact that it was at home, you just can't be doing that. So they were in it for a little bit, and then they weren't. They made mistakes, and that was that. Next, the Rebels are up 4 spots. I'm also still not sold on the Rebels. Their record is 4 wins and 2 losses. If they'd lost this one, it would have gone to evens, and they probably would have been down a fair bit further. They did lose twice in South Africa, but this was an away win. And like I said when I was talking about the Reds, it was on the back of some travel. It was on the back of 2 losses. So, I mean, you could look at it and go, they only beat the Reds. But a lot of things were lined up against them for this game, and they still managed to go and get a fairly convincing result. So, perhaps the Rebels are that team to take the torch for the Aussie Conference. I'm not sure. Whoever I have the highest Aussie team immediately goes and just stuffs up. So we will monitor that one. Top 3. The Bulls. Perhaps not quite as Jekyll and Hyde as some of the other teams like the Sharks, but still pretty Jekyll and Hyde. We're still not quite sure where they're at. But their record is also 2 wins to the good. So the Bulls are doing all right. Not that convincing, but an away win in Durban. Take that and build some results together. Do what the Blues are doing. Get 3 wins in a row. That's the message for all teams. Be like the Blues. The Lions were on the bye and have not moved. And no surprises that the Crusaders are up 2 spots. They were kind of weirdly punished by the cancelled game and then a loss kind of building up to drop them out of the top spot, even though they have looked pretty good for most of the season. They kind of scraped by the Blues, but in most of the games they've looked pretty convincing. So, yeah, the Crusaders looking pretty tough to beat. That was away from home as well, so a very convincing win from them. How they go on for future games still remains to be seen. They're not quite looking unbeatable, but they're looking very, very good. So, yeah, those are the rankings for this week. You guys let me know your thoughts on how you would have ranked the teams. I always like reading your guys' rankings, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.